Hello, everyone. Welcome back to the Greatness Engineering Hour show. Yes, we had a long break. I needed to have this break to get some new guests that's gonna inspire you. So today it's gonna be a full session of inspiration. We're going to India and we're gonna have an amazing woman with us, and we're gonna talk about grateful living. So, and it's something that's really well on time because we all know, what happened with the pandemic. People are getting discouraged. People are really, just focusing on what's not working. But it's an opportunity today to talk about, what to be grateful for, and have an opportunity to have a specialist that is, been studying and doing it for life. So before we go far, my name is Murray. I hope you remember me. My name is Murray Tilekima. I'm going to be your host today. And as part of the Greatness Engineering Hour show, I bring you champion. I bring you people who are going to inspire you. It's about helping you to go to the next level of your greatness. And I hope today that's going to be the case. You're going to be inspired. You're going to be learning some tips and have some tools that are going to help you to incorporate grateful living into your life. So let's not spend too much time. I will just bring our guest today, and don't hesitate to ask questions. Let us know where you're watching from, and also give us our opinion. Be part of the conversation, because this show is for you. This show is for you to have a voice and also get to interact with inspiring people. So let's start, and let's have an hour of greatness where we will learn and where we will be inspired. Another episode of the Greatness Engineering Hour show, the show that is brought to you by the Virai Telekima Global Leadership Organization.
Feel is important is if you just look at the word compassion, when it's behavior, it's something that can be learned, and it is something that we can embody through habits and through our daily actions.
Like, what can I do now with this all experiences that that I have? And for me, it's knowing who I am, believing in myself, and trust, and have confidence that yes, this has happened.
To get this idea that if we interject this wisdom intentionally, I call them needle movers. It's the needle mover that's missing.
I was getting my first computer when I went into undergrad, right? And so I think that stick with what you're passionate about. And if you're passionate about learning technology, you're in a great space, because technology touches every industry.
So welcome to the Greatness Engineering Hour show. Today, my guest is Farhana Vohra. She's an entrepreneur, she's a business strategist, and she's a wellness coach and blogger. But we're gonna learn more from her, and I'm gonna give her the opportunity to introduce herself. So welcome to the Greatness Engineering Hour show, and let us know who you are and what we should know about you, because I can imagine the audience must be very excited after a long break to have a new episode of the Greatness Engineering Hour show. So over to you, Farhana.
Mirel, thank you so much for inviting me on this platform. I'm honored to be out here. So, before I start, I always start with good morning, good afternoon, because there are people listening from all over the world. And my favorite one is namaste. Namaste simply means my soul sees your soul. It's all about understanding each other. Okay, so what do I do? Oh, that's such an interesting question. Your life is a journey of change, of seizing opportunities, of understanding what runs passionately deep into you. So, commercially, I always say I'm a jeweler. I have a wonderful brand, a small boutique brand called Farah's. It's mainly in a Middle Eastern presence. The second thing that I deeply, passionately live every single day of my life is living in conscious, mindful space. Meraki is my boutique company out here that is invested in the wellness space. But before I get there, before I start talking about wellness, I need to acknowledge what we have been through in the last 2 years. So, for all those that are listening to me who were not invested in wellness, please, this is a wake up call. We really need to take more care of ourselves mentally, physically, emotionally, psychologically. Today, psychological immunity is such a big factor. I'm a positive psych coach certified by various masters. I'm a mindset coach. So, my journey is all about creating transformational positive change, first in myself, and then trying to extend it to the world outside. So that's how I would introduce myself.
Fantastic. And as you said, we went through such a difficult period with the pandemic. There have been different reaction, different way of tackling what the outcome of the pandemic. And I presume that you've been exposed to different cases. And my first question to you is, how did you handle it, and how did you help people in your in your immediate environment, and what are the key things that you think have been crucial for them to continue to believe and to continue to be grateful?
So my simple mantra, I like keeping things simple. So if I simply had to state something, I say our thoughts create our reality. How I think is how my reality is panning out. I could be sitting right next to somebody 1 feet away from me, and they could be looking at the same thing and looking at a different perspective, right? So if my thoughts are creating a positive reality, if I'm able to keep the filters strong from the outside, there is a lot of hardships. There have been a lot of negativity. There have been very troubling times all around us. But we need to live strong. So here I'll move on from live strong to one thing more is trust life. We were never in the control seat. We were never in the driver's seat. It was a fallacy. And again, this was a rude awakening when we thought all our plans, all the ducks that we have lined, will fall according to how I want them to. Not at all. There is a greater player at play. And even if you look at simple economics of the world or the history, where people say all of the learning happens from historical events, but all the big changes have never been the planned ones. Whether you're talking about wars, or you're talking about catastrophes, or you're talking about bubbles that happen, the depressions that happen. Did anybody plan for any of that? So trust life is where I'll go on with. And then I will go more deeper into it. What do I mean by trust life?
And that's my next question. What do you need by trust life? Because, as you know, it's very difficult to, a lot of people to actually just trust without seeing something. And that's something, the difficulty that people have is that they need to see it, before they can believe it. So what is trust life, and what do you do to really trust life, especially in such, a difficult period where you see people dying, you lose your job, you can't travel, you are in lockdown. So how do you trust life in such a, in such a atmosphere and such an environment?
So I would go with the concept of trust God, trust the universe, trust a higher power than ourselves, trust the consciousness in you. So whatever resonates, okay, whichever bit resonates, we have a consciousness in us. We need to trust that. Are we living our true lives if we don't trust it? How can I live with fear? When there is trust, there is no fear. When there is trust, there is love. There is no fear. So trust something, live fully in the present. So right now, I'm going to ask you a very important question. Are you okay now, Mirel? As we speak, are you okay now? Right
I
now.
am I am okay. I am
Yes.
okay. And yes, I can say I am okay.
So when I bring you into the present, when I say, are you okay now? Are
Mhm.
you okay now, Farhana? The minute I bring into present, I make you mindful of the moment we are in right now, the power of now. Most of the
Mhm.
time, we are okay now. It's because of the past and the future, the thoughts that come into our lives, the negative chatter. We have 60,000 thoughts in a day. How much of that is serving you well? If you're having an issue with something, put it to rest. Every new day is a new world to you, is a new opportunity. Why are we taking that for granted? So, when I'm bringing you into the power of now, I'm saying now you're okay. Let's make the most of now. So, that's a very big way of trusting life when you live in the moment, where the past and the present are mere thoughts. Do they really exist? They don't exist. It's just an imagination, it's a thought. So while living in the present, there's a lot of fear and anxiety that gets dissolved. And why am I using these two words? Because these are two very, very negative words. When you live in fear, you're paralyzed. When you live in anxiety, you can't function. So, both ways. So, that's what I mean by trust life. There is a beautiful word, if I can expand on this, it's called amora fati. It's a Latin word. It's a Latin phrase translated to say love of fate. FATE. When I love of fate exists, when I love what is going to happen to me tomorrow, the fact that I trust my tomorrow, that journey is everything. That's the way to live. I have another question for you. What is the commonality between the 7 billion, approximate 7 billion people that live in this world? One commonality. So I'll
We are
answer it. I'll
we are
answer it.
all alive.
Not necessary 7 billion people. There are a lot of people that are dying at the moment. But
Yeah.
one commonality is we are all going to go. We
Hmm.
are all going to pass. So,
Hmm.
what are we holding on to? What is the fear that's keeping us in the position that may not be comfortable? So that's what I mean, the commonality. When you know that this trip that we have taken, whether it's with a car or a train or a flight, it's going to end at some point.
Hmm. And that's the problem, because the fear of death, it's a big one, the fear of death. And that's what really paralyzes people. Even if we know we all gonna die one day, there's always this fear that is there, and really push us to just do nothing sometime, or just put all our freedom into this fear, and we can't get out of it. And I don't know if there's a process, to manage that, but it's been something really difficult, and we see it, with sometimes people who are very talented or have something to give, because they're so scared, they don't do it. They don't, want to go to the next level, to show their greatness, to really go out there, because they know that at some point it can actually be fatal, and they're afraid of that. So what do we do to be, comfortable with this idea that, we're gonna go sometime, and everything will be okay?
So let's start with something. We all have something precious in our lives, okay? So let's go with something materialistic. I'm wearing a ring that I really like. I'm holding it up. This is precious. What do I do with something precious? I keep it safe. Am I correct? I keep it safe. I try to protect it. I keep it in a proper box, etc. When we treat our life as precious, why are we not aware of every single breath that we take? Why don't we treat our own selves with the same way of treating something materialistically precious? Our life is precious. The significance of 21,300 is the amount of times we breathe. How much of that do we consciously breathe? Where every breath is my life. I'm bringing life into me by taking a deep breath. How many of us do that consciously? And yet we are scared about losing our life. I mean, that seems like a little bit of a contradiction. So at least let's live consciously. Let's live mindfully. Let's take care of this precious life that we have been given. The opportunity to shine, the opportunity to have the best experiences of our life. That's it. That's how you live more in the present. The deeper you go into the present, the deeper you understand it's a gift. This life is a gift. We are star particles. Are you aware of that? We are made from the particles of stars. We are the supernovas which have collided with each other. So we have a bit of amazing star particles in us. Why are we not understanding in gratitude? Thank you. Say, the minute you say thank you, Mirel, thank you for this cup of coffee, you are changing the neurochemistry into your brain. You are saying thank you. So if I say thank you to everything that I have in my life, I change the deep wiring of my life. So, I can keep going deeper and deeper from trust life to grateful living to going deeper. How do you live gratefully? Yeah.
So it's going to be a good time to have breaks, but we have some guests here. We have Alton. She's saying good day, so abundant blessing to you and the family. And she's tuning in from Rochester, New York. And we also have Khalid. Khalid must be related to you because it's the same name, and he's tuning in from Mumbai. So we're gonna be back. So for those joining us just now, my guest is FARHANA VOHRA. She is amazing, as you can see. And we're talking about grateful living. So we've started the conversation, and it's already very inspiring. And we're gonna know more after the break. So don't go anywhere. We will be back in few minutes. So we are back. We are back with Farhana, and as you could see, the Greatness Engineering magazine is out, so you can get your copy as soon as you can. And we're gonna have the next edition in December. But let's get back to our conversation with Farhana, and we are talking today about grateful living. So before we continue far, and I know you started to allude to it, what is grateful living?
Grateful living is a simple concept of understanding every single breath I have is a gift. Every moment that I have on this wonderful planet is a gift. A very deep acknowledgement of that. Most people think happy people are grateful, but actually, grateful people are happy. When you are in gratitude for everything you have in your life, you change the outcome. So there is this one saying that I always say, what you appreciate appreciates. So when you appreciate something, you get more of it. You invite it. So it's a vibration. If all of this world was given $500,000, okay, it's just a small, short example. Everybody was given $500,000, and including Bill Gates. What do you think would happen in 3 months? The baseline figures of everybody would go exactly to the same if their vibrations don't change. If you don't change your vibrations of abundance, attracting abundance, living in gratefulness, then the Bill Gates would still have what he has and we would still have what we have. So it's all about vibration. It's about energy. It's about all of the particles that we are made of that attract into us what we truly want in our life. So, again, borrowing from the world of Paula Coelho, the alchemist. When you truly, truly, truly desire something, the entire universe conspires to give it to you. So, what I'm saying is when you are vibrating on the energy of saying thank you to the universe for whatever you have, it could be big, small, but that is your personal journey. It's all a different journey of every single person that is there. When you are thanking for the $5 or the $500,000, it's only going to grow. It is not going to be less. So one thing I don't like is when people complain, when people sit in a zone of playing a victim. Do something about it. You have been given every opportunity, the equal opportunities that everybody has to make a difference in your life. So grateful living is growing deeper into you. Thank you for everything you have and let it grow to the best potential. Have I explained that well, Mirel?
Wow, it's just so powerful because those are, concepts that we're not always, taught. And that's the key problem is, we tend to, even in the education system, it's all about what's, outside of us. And we tend to think that what's outside of us, it's what's controlling our lives. And yet, from what you're saying, is that we have to go deeper, and that's and create those vibration that we need to be able to have the life that we want. And
Yes.
And that's but is there a special training to do that? Because um as you know, people vibrate at different levels. So how do you go from being vibrating at a low level to go to where you want to be and get what you want? Because is there a specific process? Do you have tools to share? How do people do that?
So I do a lot of workshops and sessions on transformational change or bringing in those light bulb moments of showing you how to change, which is essentially what you're asking me, right? But before I show anything, there has to bring awareness of change. So how many times can you really ask that question? Are you willing to change? If that person is willing to change, half the battle is won. But people get so comfortable where they live. They live in the frog in the well mentality. They live in the frog in the well mentality of saying, you know what, the whole well is my life. So I can tell you a small story. So there was this lovely frog, okay? It's a 1 minute story. And he was extremely comfortable in his well. He had everything he needed. It was a little dark, a little dingy. Mr. Tortoise comes on top and says, there is a whole world out there. There is meadows and green, and there's plenty to eat. Get out of your well and see the world outside. Mr. Frog decided he is not going to do that. He will never do that till they both became old and really old. And then Tortoise came and said, can you spend my last day with me on earth? The tortoise was going to die. And the frog walks out. And then he sees this beautiful world. And he realizes what a change that could have been had he taken that step forward of not being fearful. So sometimes you need to jump off the plane and with a knapsack, knowing it's a parachute and believing that you will land well. Because if there is no movement, no change from you, there's never going to be a change otherwise.
Wow, it's just so powerful. But sometimes people are going to tell you, yes, but there's the cultural, because in some countries and in some community, the culture is so strong that you tend to say, okay, I'll stay in my box and follow whatever the community or anything. So how do you create this breakthrough in such an environment, because it can be really, really strong? How do you deal with that?
Well, I come from an India, a country like India, right? And everything that you're describing is our culture scape. So what have we inherited? We've inherited our family. We've inherited their cultural beliefs. We've inherited in our DNA everything, including how happy we are. Do you know, by Sonia Lubrinsky, how happy we are? 50% of that is in our genetics.
Wow.
Okay? 10% is in our life choices. So the fact that me and you are sitting in an AC environment having this conversation, our basic necessities are met. But the 40% is in our choices. So as an adult, when a person grows up, is it okay to re-look at the belief systems we inherited? Or do we just pass it on mindlessly to the next generation? So we need to grow. And growth means change. To change for yourself. To know that what my parents passed down perfectly in their best intention was not necessarily suiting me well in 2021 October. So if it's not suiting me well here, a small change can be made.
That's good to say that, because as you can see, a lot of especially with this pandemic, that we can see a lot of rules coming out, a lot of it's kind of we see a lot of people dictating what you should do, what you should not do. So it's important to have those strategy and those tools, and especially the mindset to be able to say, what, I'm not going to do that because it's not in my interest. It's going to leave me in a low vibration type of environment, and I want to grow. So it's something that needs to be really reiterated. And what I want to know, what have been your process? Because as you mentioned, you come from, a very strong cultural background in India, and I have the same as well. What are the steps? When was your breakthrough in a way to understand that what, it's not about where I come from, it's not about all the challenges or all the bondage that I've inherited. It's about me now, taking the lead and growing. So when was this breakthrough, and is there a person that was responsible for that?
What deep questions you're asking me, Mirel. That's amazing. You've used one word that I definitely need to go back and touch upon, and that's the word should. You said something where people have grown up in communities where the word I should do this. So by Louise Hay, the one that wrote Heal Your Life and Heal Your Body, the true certified master of thought of change, Hay House, the one that got about Secret, the book, she calls should the most damaging word. Because when you say, I should do it, means either I'm not doing it right, so I'm wrong. And if I say you should do that, means you are wrong if you are not doing it. But nothing is written in stone. What I'm feeling today is very different than what my family is feeling. How can there be so many shoulds in this market? How can it prevail in a space of harmony? So you can't say I should. Like, I don't like imposing anything. I feel, the more freer you keep people, they will be with you when they want to be with you. So replace the word I should. So let me give you an example. I should exercise every day. Can I change it to I could exercise every day? You see, it's less harsh. I could do something. Okay. So whether it's a role of a daughter when you're younger, or a mother, or a wife, most of these things, the other person is also bringing into our relationship. So when you ask me where the breakthrough happens, I think I was completely blessed, and I think God gave me the kind of family that I got. I was blessed to have parents that believed that I could do anything. So that was an easy shortcut for me. So, I need to have empathy here for people who didn't get that. I need to know that. I need to realize that I perhaps had it a bit easy. My mother was educated, and she really did think I could do anything. My father thought I could fly a plane when I told him I want to be a pilot. But I don't want to be a pilot for a living. I just want to fly a plane. So I'm just trying to tell you, everybody may not enjoy that. So at that point, what do? You be true to yourself. You be authentic to your own self. We are unique. We are unique in this world. 7 billion people have different fingerprints. Me and you are connected, but we are not the same. I'm connected to my kid, but I am not the same as my kid. We are different. So when I'm different from them, their journey is their own personal journey. My husband's journey is his own personal journey. Hopefully, we may share a compartment in a train together of life. We may get lucky to do that. But again, that is something that may happen and may not happen. So when I'm saying to all those that who want to find their feet, who want to find their true self, be strong, live strong, know what you want, and pick your battles. A lot of times people get confused. They pick the wrong battles. Pick the thing that's truly important to you and make a difference there. 1 hour is not enough for these kind of questions. This needs
and
a workshop.
I know, and but I
Yeah.
still want to have, even if it's just a partial insight, it's still a good way to incite people to understand that in a way they're always in control, and really start to make them understand that. So now the question is, you've defined grateful living. How, what's the connection with wellness in the general term? What is the connection between grateful living and wellness? Is it the same thing, or is it just something that is connected, or something that is integrated into it? What's the difference?
What a powerful question. What does it mean to say I feel well? What does it mean? If somebody asks you and I say I'm well, wellness means an overall feeling of being good, of being in a comfortable place. So I'm not talking about euphoric happiness. I'm not talking about dancing the night away. I'm talking about in a centered space when you are completely comfortable with your own self, mentally, physically, emotionally. Does that mean that a storm is not going to be there? Of course. I've been hit by storm after storm, but I know my center. So when I'm in a grateful space of living, what does that mean? Means I'm rooted. Thank you for this. It doesn't matter if that person doesn't do something for me, or if that person does not want to be with me. I am truly happy the way I am. So it's like a banyan tree that has strong roots. In a storm, it's only the banyan tree that's going to live strong. Okay, so it's a waves of life. There is a wave up and a wave down, and a wave up and a wave down. We all love the way the wave is up there. We can see this beautiful horizon, and everything is shining right. We can tell everybody around us, shake hands and say, I love you, you make me happy. I want to ask you that question. What happens when the wave is down? Has the horizon disappeared? No, the horizon is there. It's still there. Wait for it. It will come back up. I'm going to go with one word, and I have no translation of this in English. It's called sabr. S-A-B-R. Sabr means patience in Arabic. When I say sabr, it means have the patience. This too shall pass. So when I know that this too shall pass, when I know that the COVID that was affecting everybody around me, I'm going to stay strong. A lot of us shared geography in COVID times, okay, with friends and family, our family. So whether you shared it with 2, 4, 5 people in your house, every single person went through their own personal journey. Am I correct there, Miril? What I felt was very different than what my husband went through or my kids went through, because I wanted to keep my filters strong. I will always keep the filters strong. My filters around me need to be strong, that I don't allow every punch on the outside to affect my inside. So that's it. Grateful living and wellness. When you are invested on living well, when you're invested in grateful living, you are in gratitude whatever life gives you, and you will accept the challenges that life gives you. Yeah.
Wow. And we're learning so much today. I don't know if it's the same for you. I hope whoever is watching or is going to watch the show, you are taking notes, and I hope that you're getting inspired, because I am inspired today. And it's a very powerful moment, especially as we, starting to understand that we have to live with the pandemic. And as Farhana was saying, is this shall pass as well. So don't worry, don't be afraid, just be grateful for the moment, live in the moment, and be grateful for everything that you have. So we're gonna have another break, and then we come back with Farhana to continue our conversation and expand on building on the grateful living explanation that she gave us, to move forward on more of an activity that she has, and get to understand how she's making a positive impact in in our environment and in the world in a way. So don't go anywhere. We will be back very soon, and to continue our conversation with Farhana.
So you've heard about shake days, you've heard about cleanse days, you might have even heard about Ionics. You might be wondering, is this for me? Or if you've just started, you might be wondering, why do I feel so good? And while I could go on and on about all of the science that goes into our products, it really boils down to this: the best of Western nutrition, protein pacing, intermittent fasting, and good overall nutrition support, and ancient Eastern wisdom. Adaptogens and herbs that have been used for centuries in traditional Chinese medicine, Ayurveda, and naturopathy. The best of what nature and science has to offer, kind of like our secret sauce. Protein pacing aims to deliver 20 to 40 grams of protein at each meal, distributed evenly throughout the day, which is key for muscle preservation, weight loss, and performance. Our isoline shakes make protein pacing easy, complete with 24 to 36 grams of the highest quality protein and the perfect balance of macro and micronutrients sourced from whole foods. And what's more, protein pacing has been shown to increase calories burned and improve body composition regardless of dieting. So what does that mean for you? You can build muscle and burn fat without severely restricting calories. You might have heard about intermittent fasting, but fasting with nutrition support can make all the difference. And that's what Isagenix Cleanse Days are all about. Since 2002, Cleanse Days have been an integral part of our wellbeing system. Today, science can explain the benefits of fasting and why it's been practiced for centuries in many cultural traditions. For many of us, we just feel good after a cleanse day, and here's why. Intermittent fasting has now been shown to improve body composition, and that includes preserving muscle mass and burning more fat, better manage our appetite, increase mental clarity, and promote autophagy, which is our body's natural cellular cleansing process. With all of these benefits, it's no wonder that we feel so good after a cleanse day. By providing the right nutrition support during an intermittent fast, we can support our natural detoxification processes to work at the most optimal level. This can have a huge impact on how well your body can remove impurities from where they shouldn't be. And last but not least, adaptogens. As their name suggests, help us to better adapt to physical and mental stress. They're derived from plants that actually thrive in harsh environments and can have similar benefits for us. Adaptogens were first studied in the 70s by scientists Nikolai Lazarev and Israel Breckman. They found that having these herbs daily supported the body's functions under stress, improved mental and physical performance, and even reduced fatigue. And this is why we include adaptogens in many of our products. Ashwagandha, Siberian ginseng, rhodiola, wolfberry, and schizandra are just some of the adaptogens found in products like Ionic Supreme, Cleanse for Life, E+, and Isogenesis. So put it all together and here's what you get. Healthy, sustainable weight loss, nourishing detoxification support, and more energy and vitality. The science of good health delivered in a simple, personalized system straight to your door.
So we are back. We are back with FARHANA, and as you could see, we were talking about nutrition in this in this commercial. And my question to you is, as part of grateful living, what is the part of the part played by nutrition?
So just going back to the example that I gave you, your body is precious. So when you have something precious, why are we not looking after it? We need to be careful to what we put into our body. We do not need to give it the junk, because then we are going to get the junk from it. So it's all about, when you're talking about nutrition, that's the backbone of being physically healthy. Our gut health is the most important health. And if we are not physically healthy, the psychosomatic connection between mind and body, if your body is not healthy, your mind is not healthy. So it is all interconnected. Every cell has an intelligence. You need to keep it in its optimum best. So 100% nutrition, very, very important. And I know I've been guilty of sometimes having junk food, of doing something in an overindulgence, but then you need to come back and correct it. Correct it right there. Don't let the toxins build. The toxins are building not only into your body, it's giving you diseases that may be irreversible.
So nutrition, it's basically, when we look at grateful living, it's a full, it's a different dimension. And as you pointed out, the nutrition is also a key one, because it has an effect, on the physical, but also on your mindset as well. Because,
Totally, completely.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's a key thing to take into account. So I see that you're also a blogger and you do other things. So can you talk a little bit about all of this and let us know, what are the key exciting things, that is coming up for you, and especially, as a blogger, as an entrepreneur, and I like jewelry, so I really want to hear a little bit about, your jewelry business as well, if you can.
So I started my jewelry business in 2001. It's a long time. It's 20 years old, the brand. The brand is called FARHAS. Okay, it's a heritage brand, very sweet. We make some really good pieces. It's very custom designed. My brand was is sold essentially in the Middle East and through my own office in Bombay. But I want you all to visit the website, have a look at Farah's. You can just Google Farah's, you'll see it. But today, the space that I am in is for Meraki, the one that I'm passionately invested in, the wellness space where I do workshops and sessions. I was in Dubai, incidentally, just last week. I did 3 talk shows. I did a podcast. I'm always talking. I'm giving out sessions and workshops. If somebody subscribes to Meraki.in, www.meraki, Miraki.in, you will be connected to get my blog every Monday, which is going to be translated into a book soon next year. And it's all in this space. It's about everything that we've discussed. It's all about being your best version, about being well, about how do you feel, about relationships. So I do a lot of workshops on relationships, which is honoring boundaries, philosophy of happiness. Thrive Through Change became very, very famous in the last 1.5 years. I delivered it to almost 20,000 people.
Wow.
So I urge all of you, please join the website, book a session with me. That's when real change happens. And yes, so that's it. That's what I do very passionately and very
Yeah.
intently.
And we can see the passion, and so please make sure you visit Farhana website, and I'm pretty sure you'll be inspired again, as you were inspired by this conversation. So we're getting close to to the end of the show, and one question that I like asking my guests is, what is the legacy that you want to leave? Why are you doing all of this? What is the mission, your purpose, the legacy that you want to leave in the world? Because as you said, we all meant to leave one day. So what legacy do you want to leave behind?
Wow, interesting.
Mhm.
Oh, legacy I want to leave behind. I think I want to live my life in the most fullest manner that I can, with gratitude, with trusting my life, my journey, with honor. If I manage to bring all of this into my life and walk the talk, that is the biggest legacy that I would like to live. To be an honest, true, authentic person. So I think if you live that way, hopefully both my kids or one of my kids may see that as an inspiration. And the few friends that I share my life with. I want to continue with one thing that I want to say. Can I read this quote out? It's by this beautiful, unbelievable speaker. His name is Dr. David Stein Rask.
Mhm.
Okay, and he talks about grateful living. It can change our world in immensely important ways. Because if you're grateful, you're not fearful. And if you're not fearful, you're not violent. If you're grateful, you act out of a sense of enough. I have enough in this world. And not out of a sense of scarcity. And you're willing to share. If you're grateful, you're enjoying the differences between people and you are respectful to everybody. And that changes this power pyramid under which we live. So these are such powerful words said by Dr. Rusk. He's amazing because it's true. When are you fearful? You get violent, you get angry. When we lead with scarcity, we tend to be greedy.
Mhm.
Why are we greedy? Isn't there enough for everybody in this world? What am I going to be doing? Creating a tombstone like Taj Mahal after I go? I don't care. I don't care. Just scatter my ashes everywhere. It doesn't matter to me. So it's all of that. When we are in that secured space of trusting life and living gratefully, the whole vibrations to ourselves change.
And
Yep.
that's really the message today, is the vibration that we want to be on, and
Right.
it's about us identifying where we are and how we can get to those high vibration and not really get distracted by fear, because I mean, fear always comes in, but it's just a matter to say, okay, fear is there, but I really want to stay in this high vibration
Yes.
world, and I'm going to be grateful for everything, good, bad, whatever. I'm just going to
Yeah.
be grateful and continue to be in this live
Right.
in this high
Absolutely.
vibration world. And that's
Absolutely.
an important message. So thank you so much for for the time and for the inspiration, because we've learned so much today, and I know my audience needed that today, because I have a lot of entrepreneur who are very desperate because of what's happening, and they basically live in a state of paralysis and fear. And as you said, fear will not serve them. They just have to accept this shall pass as well. And let's just all be grateful and stay in and live in this high vibration that you just described, and trust life, because that's what it's all about. Trust life, trust that you are going to make it in a way, and don't be too too harsh on yourself. So any other word that you want to leave the audience with before we leave the platform today?
Yes, I'd like to say two things. Since you brought entrepreneurs in, I think the world is a better place because of entrepreneurs. Look at everything that we enjoy. It's the person that took the risk to make it. So, I'm going to say hello to all the entrepreneurs out here. Believe in yourself. That product that you think is going to make a difference will make a difference. But first, you need to believe in it. Don't let self doubt creep in. And my last point on grateful living is be generous. Just be generous. Generosity increases everything in our life. And I don't mean being generous with money, I don't mean the material things. Be generous with your time, be generous with your compliments. What appreciates you, when you appreciate something, it appreciates. Acknowledge people in your life, say the thank yous, be generous. I think the most attractive human beings are people who are generous.
Mhm.
That is such an attractive quality. And you're a woman, so I'm going to say that to you. Don't you think it's the most attractive quality in a man who's generous?
Yes, of course. Yes,
Yes,
that's what we're
yes,
looking for.
yes, exactly. Yeah, that's all I really need to say. Live strong, trust life, be authentic.
Live strong, trust life, and be authentic. I'm not going to add anything. It's all said, and it has been an amazing show, an amazing hour with Farhana. And really, go and get more information about her work, about her. Go on her website, read her blogs, and book a call with her to understand a little bit more and go deeper into anything that you feel like you need help with, and she will be there for you to guide you. So thank you so much again, Farhana, and I'm going to do the same thing as you. Namaste.
Namaste. Thank you so
And
much, too, Mira.
thank you
Wonderful
for
being here. Thank you so
wonderful
much.
being here. And I wish you to have a great weekend, and to enjoy, life as you already do. So we're going to be back with another episode of the Greatness Engineering Hour show next week. And next week, we're going to stay in Australia, but we're going to go to Melbourne. And it's going to be, again, I think, a very interesting conversation. So don't go away. We are back for this next season, and to inspire you and to bring you this inspiration straight in your home. You don't have to go anywhere. It's just in front of you, and you just have to tune in and be part of the conversation and be part of the show. So thank you very much, and see you next week.